All right, guys. So what I'm doing today is I am doing a battery test to see just how long this DJI can fly in -10. Now, we know battery life always suffers in the cold. Bear with me while I put a glove on. So we're going to see just how cold it can get and still have a reasonable amount of battery while playing with the dog outside. Jade! So, it is currently -10. The windshield is making it a lot colder than that, but windshield doesn't affect the battery, so it's just -10. So, I wanted to talk about how practical the drone is in regular use. So when you're using it in a regular place in Canada, because that's where I am, I judge everything based on where I'm going to use it. So they might have tested the battery on the Neo and said, hey, it can fly for 15 minutes. I bet you, yes, of course, it can fly for 15 minutes in the best of scenarios. But how long can it fly when it's really, really cold? That's what we're going to be testing here today. So, on top of it being cold, there is a slight wind. It's not severe, but as you can see, the DJI is floating around. Once again, there's no wind warning. This is a regular, it's a regular light gust. So, hey, that's all part of how practical the battery can hold up. So, I'm just going to be out here playing with the dog. The DJI is going to be following me around. We're going to make sure it has some movement. Of course, it is fighting with the light gusts and the incredible cold. Let's see how practical the drone is. I've now done a number of tests on how useful it is working in a forested area around trees. As you know, it doesn't have collision detection. It does a great job, though, of avoiding obstacles. I'm not sure if it is because it follows my path or it just knows not to run into things. I don't know how that actually works. It does a really good job. I've never had it run into something. The most often problem I get, especially in forest, is that a tree will block the camera and then it'll lose me. So, Once again, no fault on the drone for something like that. But at the same time, we're talking about, is it practical? Can you use it in those scenarios? So would I say that you can use this drone hiking in a forest or a heavily wooded area? Actually, absolutely. I think it's actually very, very useful. The worst case scenario is you might have to backtrack occasionally just to get it to find you again, but once it does, it's right back on track. I'd say it's very, very practical in forest. Okay, so I am getting a wind warning. So, what I'm going to say about this, and because I haven't actually edited it yet, and made anything final, I am going to call this an extreme flying in extreme circumstances. So it's not just going to be extreme cold, it is also going to be in wind. Because we're no longer just the light breeze that we were when I started. There is enough of a breeze where there's gusts, so most of the time it's good, but if it comes up with a warning, it's obviously really struggling against the wind. So it's not fair that I just call this test a cold battery test. It's also cold and moderately gusty. We'll go with moderately gusty. I think that might be extreme, but it's all good. I'm going under you. I'm going under you. What are you going to do? Ah, you caught up. You kept up. Good job. Yeah. We'll call it a Canadian extreme. Because, I wouldn't test it in, hurricane-style winds. Because it's not made for that. It shouldn't be flown in a heavy wind. I don't consider this a heavy wind. I say this is probably the limit of what the drone was intended to do. So we're pushing all the limits, temperature and wind, to get our battery result, which I think has been pretty impressive considering. So I can tell you now just about the coolness. It's probably minus 20 with the wind chill. My fingers are absolutely numb. The ones that are holding the camera so that I can talk to you guys, or the phone I mean, is completely numb. So it is cold out here. But that is life on the East Coast in Canada. So if that's life here in Canada, this drone needs to be able to live in those conditions. And by live, I mean work, because of course it's going to be here with me. I want to see how close to the 15-minute mark it'll get. I can't remember the exact estimation of flight time. I will get that information and I will post it down below. And we're going to see how close we come, what our real life numbers are like in cold conditions. Now, once again, all this being said, most people aren't using their drones when it's minus 20 out. I get that. That doesn't mean there isn't the occasion where it might happen, so we're just going to see what that'll look like. 8 minutes, still doing good. And you know what? Maybe extreme cold doesn't affect this battery too much, but I think it will, because the battery is extremely exposed. The whole DJI unit is just a little piece of plastic, and the battery connects to the very bottom of it in it's just complete exposure, right? Like the battery is basically fully exposed. And if you're wondering, will the dog ever get tired? Never. Never. When she was a puppy, we could do this for 2 hours. I mean, it would get to the point where we were either frozen or exhausted. And she'll never stop. Oh, I just got a low battery warning. Okay, low battery, return to home now. 12 minutes, 25 seconds. You know what? I'm going to let this go to right to the end, because I don't know how much energy is left when it says low battery, and if we're doing a test, we might as well go all the way. It'll land by itself safely. That's a whole aspect of it, is that when the battery completely dies out, it'll set itself down on the ground. So let's just watch it do it while we search for this ball for this dog that apparently I'm playing fetch with myself. Okay, I threw the ball here. It hit the fence, and then it went to Narnia. Alright. Alright, now we have critically low battery. 13 minutes. Oh, it's going to land. It's telling me I have a countdown. It is landing in 2 seconds. 1 second.